Hi and welcome to my book corner. Today we have another book subscription unboxing from Your Paper Quest. I'm recording this on Friday. It's come a little bit earlier this month. It's been a very long couple of days, so when I got home today and this had been posted through my letterbox, I was a happy boy. I've not touched it at any point and opened it, so this is going to be totally, utterly and completely unscripted, he says. How do I? There we go. So we'll see. Well, that works, doesn't it? We'll see what we've got. So the tear strip has decided not to tear. So, oh, that's colourful. Okay. Okay. Right. Let's get all the paraphernalia out. So, first one I'm going to mention, there is a mention of an author that has been in the book before. So, in August of 2023, our very first month, we were happy to feature Red Darkling, the first story in the Darkling universe. We're pleased to announce that L.A. Guetler has recently released her latest novel, Vacation on Planet Glor. We really enjoyed Red Darkling for its go with the flow, easy to read, and absurd take on sci-fi. Vacation on Planet Glor is an incredibly unique, create-your-own adventure story, so Noah, that might be one for you. Taking place within the ever-expanding Darkling universe. Will you be a humble tourist, get married, meet a terrible fate? The choice is yours. So, that's Vacation on Planet Glor. So, maybe one worth checking out. So, what do we have? We have our letter, and the title for the letter this month is The Cost of Justice. Welcome to Your Paper Quest's July box. We wanted to take this month to focus on some thrilling crime novels that focus on our protagonists being thrust against the system. Fun fact, I've been speaking recently about the fact that I don't really read much crime or thriller, so it's like somebody was listening to me. Our first story is Straight River by Chris Norbury. A true embodiment of Murphy's Law, Matt finds himself up against a secretive business tycoon as his life slowly falls apart. A successful musician, does Matt have what it takes to uncover what's going on, or will he fall victim to the same fate as his father? So, this is Straight River even. The letter R still gives me problems. So we have, so there's a little doohickey inside. So the blurb for this one. Straight River is a prequel to the award-winning thriller Castle Danger. It is a mystery thriller set during the emotional and financial aftermath of the Great Recession. After his estranged father dies in a farming accident, professional musician Matt Lanier returns to his hometown of Straight River, Minnesota. While he's settling his father's estate, an old family friend and neighbour asks Matt for help. Her husband's recent death was ruled a suicide. She insists it wasn't. If she can't disprove that ruling, she'll lose her farm. The local authorities are uncooperative, so Matt turns to his ex-wife and a young computer prodigy for assistance. As he gets closer to the truth, Matt suspects both deaths are connected to a violent conspiracy with national implications. When the conspirators intensify their efforts to silence him, Matt must decide if it's worth risking more lives, including his, to protect his friends and hundreds of other farmers from financial catastrophe. Oh, there we go. There is another doohickey in there. So, that's Straight River. As is often the case, there is a little Your Paper, that's very bright on the camera, sort of quote bookmark, and the quote for this one is, "You goddamn vultures. All you want is to rob us farmers blind, take our land, pave it over, make your precious money, and the rest of the world be damned. Strangely truthful. And then there is also a note from the author. Dear reader, murder, music, mystery and mayhem add up to a unique, fast-paced thriller about a professional musician who uncovers a powerful, deadly conspiracy and tries to stop it. The only problem? No one believes him, especially the authorities. So, when the conspirators try to silence him, he ends up running for his life. The first book in the Matt Lanier trilogy pits a brilliantly stubborn man who wants to do the right thing against a violent group with unlimited money and power and a grand plan for the United States. But how far is he willing to go? As he gradually convinces his friends to help, he puts their lives at risk as much as his own, with devastating consequences. I wrote this book based on the what if of taking an average person, not a detective, special agent or superhero, and forced him into the most stressful situation of his life. How far will Matt Lanier go to survive and win? How far would you go to see justice done and stop a greedy, corrupt, evil enemy? Enjoy Peace and Good Health by Chris Norbury. So that's book number 1. Back to the newsletter. Our second story is Death in Velvet by Rose Donovan. An incredibly unique detective story that pits up-and-coming fashion designer Ruby Dove as the potential conspirator in a case of elusive murders. Can she solve the crime, or will she run out of time? So this is Death in Velvet by Rose Donovan. Oops. I have hands that are too big to show things on a camera. So there's Doohickey 1. Is there Doohickey 2? There is a Doohickey 2. So the blurb for this one. Who doesn't want the latest fashions? But the cutting edge is a dangerous place to be. Springtime in Paris, 1936, when Madame Lafitte invites Ruby Dove to her first fashion show. How can she and Fina resist? Unaware of the gathering storm of greed, envy, and malice, our intrepid sleuths plunge headlong once more from the drama of fashion into the drama of murder. A flighty model, an affable cad, I love the word cad, a pushy buyer, a gruff archaeologist, a wretched assistant, an insouciant hotel manager, a confident maid, and a talented designer all have a motive for murder, and every one of them could have risked the guillotine. Faced with too many suspects, too many motives, and the ticking clock of a police investigation, our detectives wine and dine their way through Paris, hoping that someone will slip. Perhaps a Freudian slip, edged with fashionable lace. So this is book 1 of Partners in Spying. As mentioned, there's a couple of doohickeys. The first one, again, is a quotation from the book. War. Which one? It seems all around us. Yet we are safe here, at least for now. But one can die any day, mademoiselle. So there we go, that's the quote. And then we have a picture of Dolores Del Rio from 1985, a public domain photograph. Very fashionable. And on the back, you have a little letter saying to whom it may concern, dated January 13th, 1936. Please find the requested background material about a person of interest, Miss Ruby Beto Dove. I have omitted some details, as I do not have permission to share them with you. Please treat this letter with the utmost care and confidentiality. Ruby Beto Dove, born February 27th, 1915. Place of birth unknown, possibly St. Kitts. Parents, Augusta and Gibson Dove. Siblings, Wendell, aged 25. Occupation, student, Oxford, dressmaker. We have gathered these details about Miss Dove due to her ongoing political activities. Though we do not know the precise nature of these activities, We have connected her to a known network of forces arrayed against British imperial interests. I know Miss Dove returned to Oxford recently, but will be travelling to Paris with her dressmaking design. Enclosed photo includes one of her designs. SIS will be monitoring her movements closely. MG. So, there we go. So, that one is Death in Velvet. Continuing with the letter. We have been fortunate enough to work with Novelo, an online storytelling community where you can read and share short stories and novels from self-published and independent authors. We're so grateful to get to share one of their short stories, Victor, with you. Make sure you check the QR code on the back to browse their other stories too. So I'm just going to hold that on there so you can take hopefully you can get a good enough view of that to get a picture of it if you wish to take Novelo yourself. And then it is the normal doohickey mention for the Your Paper Quest YouTube channel where they do the author interviews as well. So from Novelo we have Victor by Kang Mohan. So a couple of pages, this might take a minute, but here we go. Victor was always late. Not just embarrassingly late, but also without... At first it was easy to forgive him. His rebellious brown curls fell over his face as he rushed into the restaurant, or the cinema, or wherever we had agreed to meet. And he would give me one of his mischievous smiles, making me blush immediately. How could I stay mad at those big green eyes that lit up when he caught sight of me? Even if he was an hour late, or two, one day he didn't even show up and called me at least 20 times to try and apologise. But today I wouldn't forgive him if he didn't give me an explanation. An explanation that wasn't nonsense. Angelica, it's me. Ah, Angelica. Look, it was him. Speaking of the devil of tardiness. He didn't insist too much. He knocked on the door with his knuckles a couple of times and patiently waited for me to open it. I imagined him on the other side, tucking a curl behind his ear, smoothing out the wrinkles in his shirt, or fanning his face with his hands, sweating, because he had run up the stairs of my apartment. To my apartment. I was positive about that. However, when I opened the door, I found something different than expected. Victor? What the hell? I can explain, he interrupted. He rested one hand on the white frame of the door and gestured with the other, asking me to be silent. I can explain, he repeated. But a greenish liquid dripped from his shirt sleeve, forcing me to take a step back immediately. You stink! What happened? His brown curls were plastered against his forehead, soaked, just like his white shirt and jeans and socks, and everything in general. I would have thought it was pouring rain outside, but the night was completely clear, and not even the most polluted rainwater could be dirty like that. The smell he emitted was nauseating. I fell, he said. He took advantage of my distraction to enter the apartment and close the door behind him. Where? I yelled, bringing a hand to my nose to cover it. Here it came. The green eyes scrutinized my face, and he swallowed nervously. He was about to unleash the biggest absurd excuse out of all the absurd excuses humanity has ever invented. In a swamp, he sighed. He made a move to walk to the couch to sit down, but I gave him a warning look, and he stopped halfway. Right. Sorry. Can you lend me some clothes? From your brother or something? In a swamp. I crossed my arms and clenched my jaw. Damn it. If this man wasn't 6 feet tall, I would have given him the scalding of his life. Yes, he mumbled. There are no swamps around here, Victor. I know, he admitted. He let out another sigh. More mentally exhausted than physically tired, he seemed. I know it's hard to believe, but this time it's true. Ah, this time. What about the other hundreds of times before this one? I turned around. I couldn't keep looking at him. I couldn't keep looking at him in the face. If I did, I would end up forgiving him. I walked towards the front door, ready to kick him out if necessary. He followed me in silence, and only spoke when he stopped beside me. Angelica, I have to be honest with you now, he pleaded. I hesitated for a second, which made him smile. His smile persuaded me. I let go of the doorknob and let him explain. I have teleportation powers. Victor. No, wait, I'm serious, he shouted. But they're like super hard to control, so instead of doing things as I want, I keep appearing in random places without warning. And I was on my way here, and then I was about to stop by a flower shop to buy you some chrysanthemums, because I know you don't like roses. You like chrysanthemums. And when I was about to enter, I suddenly fell and I was in a swamp. So I fell into a swamp because I wanted to buy you flowers. He smiled again. So you're saying it's my fault? No, he rushed to clarify. I'm just explaining what happened, he added. Well, I said. I turned away from the door to go to the window. I needed fresh air. The swamp smell was unbearable. Assuming that's true, and I'm not saying I believe you, how come I haven't found out before? I always tried to be on time for our dates, he replied. Whatever, I muttered to myself. But it's dangerous. Today you say you fell into a swamp. What about tomorrow? If you teleport in the middle of a road, you could get hit by a car. I fell silent abruptly. He had used that excuse before, the one about being hit by a car, and I hadn't believed him either. That's why you had your arm in a cast 2 months ago? Were you really hit by a car? I muttered. Oh, no. He shook his head. That was the boat accident. I've never been hit by a car yet, although there was the time with a tractor. You were hit by a boat? My scream startled him for a second, but he quickly regained his sly smile. No, I landed on the deck and rolled until I hit a metal railing, he explained. There was a spark in his green eyes that I couldn't decipher. He nodded, as if approving the truth of his own story like that. But I shook my head. Bullshit, I said. I don't know what's going on with you, Victor, but if you don't want to tell me, go tell your silly little tales to someone else. The siren of a police car sounded in the distance. Victor tensed his expression a bit, but he never took his green eyes off me. Soon, the sirens were practically in my living room, and the blue and red light hit our faces by the window. Angelica, I need to ask you a favour, okay? What is it? I snapped. You have to close your eyes tightly and count to 5. Why? He glanced sideways at the streets, then he returned my gaze and smiled. Again, that smile. I couldn't stand it. Do it for me, please, he whispered. So I closed my eyes like a fool. 1. I counted aloud. I felt his frozen hand on my cheek. The smell of the swamp almost made me gag. 2. His thumb slid down my face to softly touch my lips. I shivered but continued. 3. And his hand fell. There were knocks on the door. PD, open the door. 4, I whispered, trembling. I raised my arm a little, trying to find Victor standing in front of me, still not opening my eyes. But I couldn't find him. Police, open the door. The knocks grew louder. 5. I opened my eyes. Victor was gone. So that was Victor by Kang Mohan. Marta Picades, often known online by the pseudonym Mohan, is an audio-visual communicator and digital designer with a strong passion for dark fantasy, sci-fi, and mundane magic stories. Born in Toledo, Spain in 2003, Marta has been contributing to the South Korean Mexican digital media outlet K Magazine as a reporter and correspondent since 2022, covering a diverse range of cultural and entertainment topics. Novelo is a storytelling community aimed towards indie and self-published authors. We have novels and short stories across a wide range of genres. Scan the QR code, which I've already shown on screen, to discover your new favourite authors. We are always on the lookout for emerging and established talent. Publish your works of fiction on Novelo, and in return we offer you 100% ownership of everything you upload, 80% royalty, monthly competition, promotion of your work through our newsletter and social media. So there we go. I'm only expecting one other bit of book mail this month. Interestingly enough, this is for one of my reviews for Don't Die July, and that is from Chuck Tingle, and it is the new release horror novel. I can't speak. That is for the new release horror novel Bury Your Gaze, which is out on July the 9th in the US and July the 16th here in the UK. So with those two dates in mind, for reasons known only to themselves, Waterstones are delivering it to me on the 29th of June. So I will have it by the time this video goes up. So that's an unexpected thing for tomorrow. But that is my review for the July box from Your Paper Quest. Are you interested in either of the titles mentioned here? If so, let me know in the comments below, and I will catch you all very soon.